every failure, every mistake, every negative or uncomfortable situation that we go through our lives they're opportunities. You know, they're opportunities to learn, they're opportunities to grow and to evolve into our greatest selves, to live our best lives. Yeah. I ended up actually breaking my collarbone, exploding my whole entire knee, and cracking my femur all the way up.
Oh my God.
So, and I've put all of my energy into really myself and racing bikes and trying to make Will Grant as great as Will Grant could be. And then, and my own BMX career. And then when I ended up losing everything to where all of a sudden I don't have BMX anymore. I can't even walk, I can't put my arms, I had pains in my body from everywhere, and everything that I've done was based on my own physicality. When I lost all of that, it just changed everything. Like I had to think about everything differently because I was just broken down at my lowest point, and you know, that's when the depression kicks in and all of the anxiety, and you're not quite sure what you're doing with your life and where you're at and why you've done everything you've done, and because you're just at the point where you're just not happy with where you are because it's in such a low place. A lot of times when these negative things happen to people, they just, okay, I can't do what I want to do because these things happen. But those things are opportunities to find how we're going to evolve ourselves to the next step of ourselves. Because I couldn't train, I couldn't do anything. And I thought, okay, so if I can't train physically, how can I train? And I could train my mind. And I know I kept seeing things around me about the best way to train your mind is through meditation. And I'm telling you, me trying to meditate was like taking a 500-pound person and putting them on a treadmill. Like it was the most difficult thing. Like my mind has always been going a million miles per hour, just really tripping over my own thoughts. And then to be able to sit myself down to where I couldn't leave my house, I couldn't move myself physically, I had to stop and I just started breathing and meditating. All of a sudden, my whole perspective cleared of where I was, what was important, what was holding me back, as far as I had so many things just limiting my own potential. And then as I was able to stop and to breathe and everything began to process, just to be able to stop and to breathe and connect with your breath, because your breath is your spirit. Your breath is your doorway into your whole control center. And a lot of people have no control of what's going on. They have no control of their thoughts, their emotions, their feelings, their life. So when you connect with your breath, you learn to gain control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your life. And then just to stop and breathe, and then all of a sudden everything was just clearing. Like, that dust was settling, so I just had a clear perspective of not only myself, because I was living through my ego really my whole life of just Will Grant, trying to make Will Grant great. How great can he be, And then when I lost all that and I started breathing, I got to see myself outside of myself. And I realized, well, one, I'm not as great as I thought I was, and it's not all about me, and I noticed the more I pushed to make myself great, it's like I was just fighting against so much resistance instead of just using the power of the energy around me and learning how to bring everybody up and everything up around me. That's where I'm gaining that real power, and I'm using that law of inertia and gaining that momentum to live the life that I want to live, instead of just kind of fighting everything around because my ego's in control. But I've learned so much because I've made so many mistakes and I've failed so many times. Earlier in my career, when I was 16, 3 months after turning pro, I tore my ACL. And then a year later, my first race back, I re-tore my ACL. My first race back after that, I broke my heel. And then during that time of all this pain that I was feeling internally, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and I was just masking with drugs, alcohol, everything bad. And then it never was able to process of what's going on and how I can evolve to that next step. Because these negative things are going to happen to us no matter what. It doesn't matter how great your life is, there's going to be things that we have to overcome. And the difference in being able to succeed and to find that abundance in our life, and to be able to live our greatest life and to actually enjoy and find that love and find that joy, is to be able to take these situations that we're in and process it. Okay, how can I learn from this? Like, how can I move forward? Like, Because all these situations that come into our lives, they come into our lives for a reason. Pain is meant to teach us something. You know, physically, mentally, emotionally, like we're meant to be learning from it. We can't just take a pill and get rid of the pain. That problem is still there. When we can learn to process that pain and to learn from it, then that's our ticket to evolve into our happier selves, our greatest selves, our more abundant selves. Or we can go the other way to where, oh, this happened to me, I guess it's over, I guess I'm just meant to be miserable the rest of my life. And it doesn't have to be that way. It's all who's in control up here. Are you in control of your environment, or is your environment in control of you? Most people don't understand the language of their own body, so when they have pain here or a feeling here, they don't know what's going on. They don't understand what's going on, so they'll mask it in some way or another. But then when you're able to sit there and just breathe deep, you just gain that complete understanding of it, and you're feeling those feelings, and then you're starting to understand and communicate with your body. And then the more you do that, then you start able to speak the same language. And when you're able to speak the same language, when you get a feeling or a pain or a feeling in your gut, you know what it means, because you've dived deep into your control center to understand the buttons. We have so many different buttons and controls to our body and our minds that we only know the most very, very basic. And I believe a huge part of that is because we're breathing just the bare minimum to get by. Okay? So we have all these different buttons and controls that when we spend time with our breath and when we spend time with ourselves, we learn how to gain control of what's going on. And then that helps in every single area of our life, just to be in more control. If there's a day that I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed, or my mind I catch is just kind of tripping over my own thoughts, I've got all this coming at me from all the different angles, I need to stop and process it. So I'll stop, and maybe I'll start with one round and I'll just finish another 10 minutes of just feeling my breath. And when you could quiet down your mind, that's when your greatest idea comes, you know? Because our minds are always going, that's our monkey brain. You know, and when we're able to turn that off, then our highest, greatest self is able to speak to us, and we're able to hear, and because we're present to be able to observe everything that's going around us. When you get outside of yourself, you realize that how much love is there, you know, and how much that we're in this together. I feel, especially, the more that we're living in our ego, we're living very lonely. And to get outside of our ego, to realize we're one, we are in this together, and we need to be bringing each other up. And when we bring each other up, that's what's going to create a better world for us, for our kids, for our family, and for our community. Everything that has ever been accomplished in this world for human beings ever, in history and everything, has been from people being able to step out of that comfort zone. And then that's in our own lives as well, because we are only activating at such a small percentage of our potential. Yes. You know, it's and because everything in the life is so comfortable right now. We don't have to fight to eat or stay warm or find food. Like, we have everything there. So then everyone's like, okay, we're comfortable. What do we do next? What's the meaning? Yeah. Everyone's looking for the meaning of life because they can't find it, because everything is there for them already.
We have it so good. I mean, think about like Amazon Prime. You want something, you have it in 2 days. Like, we literally have it so easy. So what are you doing each day to challenge yourself? What are you doing each day to push yourself? And people don't.
Yeah, and I think, well, before, humans had to push themselves just to survive. You know, now we don't have to push ourselves to survive, so we're why would we push ourselves? But then they have to see that vision, and they have to see something that they want that's more and greater than themselves, because we have to be with ourselves to be able to survive. But we've overcome that already. You know, as a human species, most of us have pretty much overcome a survival aspect. So we have to, now it's our time, our next step in our evolution is to step outside of ourselves and realize, what can we do to, raise our own as a community, as a world, as a species? And that comes, again, we need to step out of our comfort zone to build that strength to be able to keep pursuing whatever we want to pursue. Our comfort zone has a direct correlation with how successful we're going to be in every single area of our life. Literally, if we want to grow, if we want to expand, if we want to learn, like we have to be able to step out of our comfort zone. That's where all growth is. All growth, all progression is when we step out of our comfort zone. And you learn that from even training with weights or working out physically. If you go to the gym and if you're comfortable the whole time, you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like it takes you to step out of your comfort zone to find that result in, physically. Like for example, if you're doing the 15 reps of whatever exercise that is, it's not the first few reps that you can do easily that make the impact. It's the last reps when you don't have anything left and you're stuck.
Yes.
That's what makes your body and brain say, okay, something has to change, something has to grow for the next time. And jumping in that cold water, it sucks. It's uncomfortable. And we have to become really good at getting uncomfortable to be able to constantly see progression and progress in our own lives. And then when you jump into that cold water, it not only gives you all these physical benefits of your blood flow and your arteries and your oxygen level just increasing, it fights inflammation, and the healthier we are physically, the clearer our minds are going to work. So it gives us this big burst of energy when we're getting out, and then on top of that, we gain this inner confidence and inner strength to be able to pursue our goals. That trains that part in my brain to overcome that chatter. To overcome that chatter of, what if these people think I'm silly? Well, usually the people who are thinking I'm silly, they're not doing anything.
Yes.
Like those are the people who didn't pursue their lives, or didn't pursue their goals. That's why they think it's silly, because they're afraid to step out of their comfort zone. But the people who are really doing things and really accomplishing, they're going to see what you're doing, that you're stepping, putting yourself out there and getting out of your comfort zone. Like they're going to respect that, and then all of a sudden, it's that law of attraction. Then you're going to start attracting the people who are going to want to lift you up instead of tear you down.
Yes.
And so that's why I overcame that fear of what if people think I'm silly, because I know that it was just going to attract the people who are going to help me keep pursuing this, and it's going to kind of put away the people who are just going to try to bring me down.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, jumping into that cold water is training the same part in my brain to be able to step into that cold water even though I hear that chatter. To be above the chatter, outside the chatter, and stronger than that inside chatter that's always going to bring you down.
Yeah, so powerful. So powerful. I love it. So where can people find you online?
Everything I do is on my website. It's on www.thewillgrant.com. So I'm constantly creating content for Instagram, for Twitter, and for YouTube, and I'm writing a book as well. But all of that is funneled straight to my website as well. So thewillgrant.com.
Awesome.